Hello everyone, today's video is going to be a collab video with my friend Steph. I will leave her Instagram and her YouTube all down below. I love this woman. She is so sweet. Her son's adorable. She's just overall such a nice and calming person, and I'm so happy that she's going to collaborate with me on this video. And this video is inspired by two different creators. Too Much Tosh and That's Just Steph. It's Just Steph. Another Steph. There's too many Stephs in the beauty space. Too many Stephs to keep a track of. But this video is all of the oldest products that is in our collections. And I am in a better spot with this because I am a younger person. I haven't been doing makeup as long as some of these other people. The oldest product I have is from 2017. So it's 2024, it's 7 years old. When I moved into this house, ooh, there's a kitty. When I moved into this house, I decluttered a lot of products that are very, very old. I used to have a lot more from 2017, which I no longer have. I'm going to start from the youngest. I am going to go from 2020, and we're going to go back all the way to 2017. Go down below for Steph's channel to find her video. She has makeup older than this. She has a lot more older makeup than I do. Makeup does expire, I want to say that. I'm going to start with 2020. This stuff is 4 years old, or going on 4 years old, because some of it I got later in the year. There is one cream product, and that is my e.l.f. Ride or Die Lip Balm. And this is still relatively full. I don't think they have these anymore. And I have the shade Tough Cookie. It's a beautiful nude color. I think the reason why I don't use it very much is because it is so thick to get out of the packaging. Whoa, actually never mind, maybe it's not so thick. Like right now it's kind of separated, so don't disregard that. But like this is the separated part. It's just clear, the clear part in the color, but it's very thick. It's very thick, it's very gloopy, it's a little sticky. I mean, it still smells really good. It has always looked this thick and gloopy. I think at the current moment, this is my oldest lip product, and I don't have any other lip products to show you guys. I really should start using this more. The reason why it came out so easily is because it's so warm in my house. Any other time, I have to put this in between my legs while I'm doing my makeup or what have you. I would love to focus on this and finish it at some point in time. It's definitely not happening this year. I want to talk about two cheek products. One is in my project pan. It's this Becca Moonstone highlighter. I got it in like a duo set from TJ Maxx back in 2020. And you can tell I am pretty close to finishing it, so this is on its way out. Love to see products that are on their way out, and you'll see multiple project pan items in here, and this is certainly one of them. And then the last cheek product I have, because the rest are eyeshadow palettes, is the CoverGirl Peach Punch highlighter palette, which I don't know why they call it a highlighter palette, because it doesn't have all highlighters. It has a highlight highlight, blush, and bronzer in it. And this is just a beautiful product. I got this for my birthday. My sister, bought it for me back in 2020. Still smells like peaches. It still smells really good. It still applies just the same. It's a very soft CoverGirl formula. I haven't tried anything new from CoverGirl, but this is the type of formula they at least had, you know, many moons ago. I would love to try and hit pan in some of these, get more use out of some of these. This was in a project earlier this year. It was in one of my deck of panning updates. So this has been worked on so far this year. Now the rest of these are eyeshadow palettes. I should probably get rid of some of these. Not because they're old, but because I feel like when they get to a certain point, I kind of just want to be done. I don't want to see them anymore. As horrible as that sounds, but my collection has obviously grown and morphed within the last 4 years. But this one's still in my heart. The ColourPop Garden Variety Palette. I love and adore this eyeshadow palette. It has my favorite shades in it: peaches, neutrals, purples. I love and adore this palette. The only thing that's like gone off is this Super Shock shadow here. And I mean, I never really used it anyway. This one, I mean, I love and adore this palette, do not get me wrong, but I'm like on the fence. This is the Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette. I do have multiple pans in here. And I mean, I love this palette. It's just that the formula is starting to get slightly drier. They're getting slightly, like definitely drier. They're getting like flakier. I do love this palette, and I hope I can get another year or so of use before these shimmers completely die on me. This palette I am heavily considering decluttering this year. I enjoy the palette. It's just that I have other palettes in my collection that I would rather use. And that is the Profusion Starlit palette. It is it's a huge palette. I mean, it has a lovely range of colors. You have neutrals, greens, pinks, and then these like cooler tones down here. Like, this is a beautiful color story. I love this color story. I do have 3 pans in it. I really enjoy a lot of these shades. The shimmers are just very light. If you're one of those really simple makeup wearers, the Profusion formula will be right up your alley. Yes, there's color, but it's more diffused on the lid. And like, see my eyeballs? They're bright, they're colorful. This is just not what this palette offers. And although I used to love and adore this palette, it was my ride or die everyday palette, I think it has lost its charm, and I think it should be decluttered at least sometime this year. I barely reached for it last year. Actually, I barely reached for it for like the last 2 years, just because there's other and better things in my collection. I have my Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette. This is what she looks like. It is just a simple, everyday neutral palette. I have nothing bad to say about it. I still enjoy it. The colors all work the same, so it's a good staple neutral palette. This one is another one that I really want to declutter, and you guys saw this in some video I did, my 4th of July makeup video. It is my Alyssa Edwards and ABH collab palette. I got this at TJ Maxx in 2020, which means this was probably like a 2019 release. The color story is, yes, very pretty, except the quality of this, A, has never really been that good, and B, it's still not good. And there are definitely dips in here. I have tried my hardest to use this palette and to love this palette and to make some looks with it. And maybe it's gonna be one of those things I try and make myself use this like 2 more times and be like, okay, we're done. Chopping block. The last 2 palettes in 2020 I really love and enjoy. This is my BH Mimosa palette. This was a part of the Weekend Vibes collection. I have the other 2. I have pan in here, and it's very reflective, so I'm very sorry. I love and adore this palette. It is such a staple. Someone on Instagram, I think it was like a year ago, said about how the BH formula does not stand the test of time, and hers was starting to go bad on her. I haven't experienced any issues with my BH palette. The colors perform fine, the color pigmentation is fine, blending is fine, staying power is fine. So I don't have any issues with my palette, and I hope it stays in its current condition for much longer. My last palette from 2020 is my NYX Ultimate Utopia palette, and again, another huge eyeshadow palette. I have many pans in my palette. I really love and adore it. I would really enjoy hitting more pans in this palette. It is getting older, but the formula is still maintaining, and I truly love and adore this palette. Would love to use it more. I did a 3 looks, 1 palette video, and I'll leave that one linked down below. And there's now a doggy. I have a very small stack from 2019. These items are 5 years old. These would be going into kindergarten this school year. I'm going in with the 2 cheek products. This one, I don't exactly know how old this is, and I was trying to go back on like inventory videos. I was going back in like inventory posts and things like that. I got this from my gram. She had it, didn't use it, passed it on to me. Very, very possible that it is older than 2019, but I'm putting it in this pile because based on my Instagram, the first time I saw it in pictures was in 2019, and that is my Laura Geller. It is technically a Balance and Brighten foundation in the shade medium. It is way too dark for me, so I use it as a bronzer. I will say it is very flat. It is a baked product. This was at the time that finding a light bronzer was so hard to find, so this was my light bronzer. I used a face powder that was darker than my skin tone. I would love to hit like the waffle pan, except I don't really know how deep this goes, so maybe I'll put this in a project pan next year. It is a very, very nice color on me for a bronzer, and I have never had issues with it. So at the bare minimum, it is from 2019. This is a product that I'm currently working on in a project pan. This is my Cover FX Perfector face palette in the shade light to medium. I got this in a BoxyCharm. I started getting BoxyCharm, I think in 2018 is when I started getting BoxyCharm, and I was getting BoxyCharm on and off for the last couple years. Since I'm currently panning this, this is what it currently looks like. I have a really big dip in this highlighter color. I have a nice pan on the bronzer. I have a pretty nice dip in this finishing powder. The blush in this highlighter shade I kind of mixed together, and you know, those I'm not gonna see much progress in because it's a blush, but I am using this on a very frequent basis this year to try and get use on it. I would love to try and finish some of these pans, get a lot more use out of this. It is a very old product in my collection. Now for my eyeshadow palettes, this one has a special place in my heart, and I don't think I will ever be able to get rid of it. It is my e.l.f. 18 Hit Wonders palette. Back in the day, I did not have many eyeshadows, and I didn't have that much color in my collection. I had the NYX, it's like some rainbow palette, like the Ultimate Brights or something like that. And I just wanted something more punchy, and I wanted something with shimmers. And this was on the market, and guess what? My friend of mine, she bought this for me, and I can't get rid of it. I have 2 pans in here. I've used it for a couple looks so far this year, and I've liked them. It's just not a go-to palette for me. It truly is not. The formula, like back then in these e.l.f. palettes and these bigger palettes, it wasn't fantastic quality. And guess what? It's still not fantastic quality, but the quality is still the same as what it was when I first got the palette. Then I have my Pure Festival palette. This one is definitely going downhill quickly. This is from a BoxyCharm. It has been my go-to summer palette. There was 2 pressed glitters, and I've taken them out, but as you can tell, I have some nice pans in some of them. I have really nice dips in others. It's a very beautiful color story. It's a beautiful palette. It's just the shades, they just don't last on the eyes anymore. There is not the, you know, the glossy shimmer. I mean, granted, they're still pretty, but they're subtle. They're more lackluster now. I'm gonna try and do a couple looks with this summer, and I will probably have to retire it just based on quality decline from the age. 2018, these two products are from BoxyCharm, and believe it or not, neither are eyeshadow, and believe it or not, one of them is a cream product. These are from 2018, so they are 6 years old. They're first graders. This is the eyeshadow primer that I'm using on a daily basis. This is the True and Luscious Angel Eyes eyeshadow primer. I got this in a BoxyCharm. It's in light nude. It's the one that I've been using ever since my last one went out. Eyeshadow primer just takes so long to use up, and I'm not anywhere near done with this. I'm pushing from this bottom and stuff is coming out. It's a fine eyeshadow primer. This is the thing that shocked me the most. Going through my inventory posts and my like Ulta orders and all that good stuff, this is the thing that surprised me the most. I could not believe this product that I use on a daily basis on my eyeballs is 6 years old. This is the last product I have from 2018. It is my Wander Beauty Wondrous Dusk to Dawn palette. Again, BoxyCharm. At least I have a little pan in that blush. This was like my favorite blush for a period of time. It's just this light, you know, it has a nice golden sheen, but it's just peachy. It's like a toned down NARS Orgasm. It's peachy, it has that shift of gold. It's still really pretty. Havana Nights is really pretty. It's like a soft berry color. It has a sheen to it. And then City Lights is a highlighter, but it's way too dark for me. It's just these things, they, like, you blink and it's like 4 years later. It's really how that is, and I can't believe this is from 2018. Some of these BoxyCharm things, man. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have makeup much older than mine. This one is being promoted to 2nd grade. 2017, my one and only 7-year-old product, which I did have more until I moved. I got rid of them. But it is my Lorac Starlight Highlighter. So during Christmas time, Lorac had a gift set. It had a full-size highlighter, full-size blush, which is way too pigmented, and I decluttered that a long time ago. And then it had this glowy primer base thing that would probably throw the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless filter out the hazoo. No biggie. But as you can tell, this highlighter looks a little misshapen. I hit pan on it. Fine, dandy. I hit so much pan on it that I repressed it. Once it was repressed, I think I hit pan on it again, tried to repress it, then I broke it, and this is now a repressed version, and I have not used it very much since then. After that Becca highlighter, this is my next one getting used. It is beautiful. It is so soft, so natural. They do not, it's right here, they do not make highlighters like this anymore. But this one is repressed, it's much softer, so I feel like this would be a relatively easy finish, but we'll see next year. Check out Steph's YouTube channel, Instagram, all of her info is down below. I want to thank her for collabing with me on this video. She is a sweetheart. I highly recommend. She's just so calm. If you watch videos just to fall asleep to, just watch her Project Pan videos on like repeat. She primarily does Project Pan videos and like inventory videos and stuff like that. Primarily Project Pan. If you just need a calming voice to put you to sleep, she is the best person to do so. Her voice is just so calming. I love that the most about her. But I'll leave everything down below. If you came from her channel, I highly appreciate you coming here. Like button is always down there. Subscribe button is always there, always free, always appreciated. Comment down below, how old is your oldest product? I know, let's get humbled a little bit. How old is your oldest product? We can be honest here. And it is okay if it's older than 2017. It's okay. It's okay. Makeup back then lasted longer. I want to know what your oldest product is, and I want to know how old it is. What grade is it going into this school year? I want to know that. I am very nosy. But leave all that in the comments section. I highly appreciate everyone being here, and I shall see you guys next time.